Self-Care Sunday again. And today I want to talk about something that's called toxic positivity. You may have heard of this before, you may not, or you may be thinking, I thought positive thinking was healthy and is what we're supposed to do, which it is. And I'm not saying you shouldn't think positive, but what I'm talking about is whenever we tend to react to someone else in an overly, almost an inauthentic, positive way. Sometimes we will tell people things like, just think positive, or it could be worse, or we could say, happiness is a choice. I'm sure you'll be fine. Sometimes we even say well-meaning things like everything happens for a reason, or look on the bright side. And sometimes those are helpful, and we say those things because we're trying to help people. But if I'm a person sharing something hurtful or sharing a deep feeling with someone else, and they come back at me with, oh, just be positive, or it could be worse, that completely makes the other person feel invalidated. It makes them feel ashamed or guilty for having a negative emotion. It almost puts forth this idea that we should not have negative emotions. We should only have positive emotions. Toxic positivity is minimizing, it's demoralizing, and it's isolating to the person that's reaching out for help that may have been experiencing some unhappy or negative emotions. If you react in that manner, it automatically shuts things down and it makes them feel like you're not a safe person to talk to. And so, a lot of times it comes across as we are too lazy, or we don't want to put forth the effort of actually listening to another person or actually validating their feelings. So we just come back with a real quick positive comment just to get them off our back. And that's not always our intent, but that's sort of how it seems to the other person. So if someone shares a feeling with you that's not positive, they're seeking empathy. Empathy is what they need. And it takes a lot more effort to provide comfort, acknowledgement, compassion, connection, validation of that person's feelings. In counseling, a lot of times we'll say you need to meet people where they are at. So you need to step inside their shoes and look out through their eyes and try to see the world through their view. You don't just blow them off like, oh, you'll be fine. So, and the thing that bothers me about toxic positivity is that it really leads to mental health stigma. So it shows people that it's not okay to have negative emotions. It's not okay to feel bad. You should just push those down and just act positive. It is sort of a tone deaf way of responding to things, and it can even be harmful to the person who's trying to share their feelings with you. So we have to realize that struggle is a part of being human. We all struggle. All emotions serve a purpose. And to live an authentic life is to experience the full range of emotions, not just the positive ones. And don't put on a fake positive face. So, and that's the thing I hate the most about toxic positivity. It just seems fake. It's not real. If you're a naturally positive person and you put that out there, that's great. I love people like that. But if you're forcing it and you're trying to act positive even though you have all these horrible things happening and you really should be reaching out for help, then I worry about you. If someone else is sharing a negative emotion with you and you come back at them with toxic positivity, it sends a signal that you are shutting them down and you don't want to put any effort into that relationship. So like we talked about before, it's okay to set boundaries to protect your energy, but at least be real about it, be authentic in the things that you say. You can even say something as simple as, I know this is hard for you, acknowledging their struggles. You can say, I hate to see you hurting like this. You could even just be honest and just say, I really don't know what to say right now, but I'm sorry you're having to feel this way. I think it's just more important to be real and authentic and just be there present with that person rather than trying to brush them off and show that you're not willing to sit in that experience with them. Now in psychology, there was a movement back when I was in school that was pretty popular. It was the positive psychology movement. And there's a lot of great things about that. In fact, I was really interested in it. I based my thesis off of it. I found my favorite researcher is Martin Seligman. So he wrote Authentic Happiness. He actually started his research with learned helplessness, if you've ever heard about that, and then he changed it to learned optimism, and then he's basically using cognitive behavior therapy to teach people to change the way they think to be happier, which is great. I love cognitive behavioral therapy, and it works right. It works great if you use it right. But some people have taken the positive psychology movement and sort of perverted it a little bit, and so it's like they're thinking you have to be positive and optimistic all the time. I had a colleague once who I went to because I found out I was going to be losing my job. The grant I worked under was ending, and it was kind of a surprise because I thought it would get refunded again. And I was really on the verge of tears, and I was trying to put myself out there and get some support with this person. And they came back at me by saying, well, you can't live your life looking in the rear view mirror. And it just shut me down. And I was like, this is not someone I can talk to. So just if you have these little statements that you tell people like that, well, just be positive, it shuts them down. And maybe that's what you want. And if it is, then keep doing it. But if you want real, authentic relationships and connection with people, you've got to learn to be a little more empathetic. So in cognitive behavioral therapy, which is what I pretty much do, and I can't just explain it all on a video, you got to actually go see a counselor and work through it with them. But I prefer to teach people how to go from having their cognitive distortions, which we will talk about in a future video, to a more realistic way of thinking. So I don't say you need to be more positive or you need to think positive. I say you need to think more realistically. And sometimes that's the reason we're depressed or anxious, is because we're not even having realistic thoughts. So I just don't like to use the word positive that much, just because of this toxic positivity thing. I promise that we will talk about cognitive distortions in a future video, but I just want to leave you with this. In your relationships, it's simple. Just be present with the other person, be empathetic, put yourself in their shoes, and be real. People can tell if you're being fake, they can tell if you're being authentic. So just, go with your heart and just be real, be genuine. Let me know if you have any questions about this topic. I know it's kind of a weird one. So And I will see you again next week on Self Care Sunday. Take care.